here in the UK, when I talk to people in the Foreign Office and that, and over in the US, doesn't really quite understand what's going on. They just think everybody's a little wrong, that they're supporting dictatorships. They don't quite get that if you're seeing it from Beijing, or if you're seeing it from Jakarta or something, that Iraq, Afghanistan, even before that, the invasion of Grenada and Panama and these sort of things, and then the support now that's going on for Israel and the whole Gaza thing that is happening there, is that the Western democracies don't hold a moral high ground anymore.
Let's talk to Humphrey Hawksley, editorial director of Asian Affairs magazine and a former BBC Beijing bureau chief. Good evening to you, Humphrey.
Good evening, Carol.
Great to have you with us. This is quite a gathering of leaders which President Xi has brought together. What do you make of what's happening there?
It's absolutely fascinating on a number of levels, and the way that it's couched as sort of anti-Western or anti-democratic, it's a lot more than that, and there are so many different levels to it. So the first takeaway is that they're ending what they call the Pacific War, 80 years since that, where the enemy was Japan. Well, Japan in Asia is the main US ally, and what China has been doing over the past 20 years or so is trying to prize Asia away from the US, and it's doing that to some degree of success by painting Japan as the villain, and that the Soviet Union and China were fighting shoulder to shoulder against it, and they won on that. And then the number of people that are there from all over the place. It's not just these sort of dictatorships and the autocracies. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, for example, has sent their leader, and there are other. Indonesia is there, Malaysia is there, Slovakia, I'm sorry, is there from the European Union. So this is a gradual gathering of what I guess is called the global South, or there's not anti-Western, it's sort of less Western. They don't want to be anti-Western, they don't want to be categorized in anything, but the track record of the West, particularly with Donald Trump coming in now with the tariffs and that sort of thing, they're saying, no, we do need another system because this system isn't working for us.
And how much is this about President Xi looking at, in particular, the effect of the tariffs and saying, look, this is an opportunity for China to even further expand its economic power and its influence?
Well, I think that's exactly right. I mean, India is the case example there. So there was the photo op today of Vladimir Putin, Narendra Modi, and Xi Jinping holding hands together. Now, for the past 20 plus years, America has been trying to court India into its camp. It has set up something called the Quad, which is India, Japan, the US, and Australia, as a kind of alliance to fight against or to counter Chinese expansion in the Indo-Pacific. So by putting those tariffs on India just suddenly like that last week, India says, well, okay, I've got other friends over here. Let's do that. And the India-Russia relationship has been very strong since 1971, when the US sided with Pakistan in the Bangladesh war. So you've got these big giants of Asia there in a photo opportunity being seen together with the rest of that global South world, the poorer countries or the non-democratic countries. And the establishment, Carol, here in the UK, when I talk to people in the Foreign Office and that, and over in the US, doesn't really quite understand what's going on. They just think everybody's a little wrong, that they're supporting dictatorships. They don't quite get that if you're seeing it from Beijing, or if you're seeing it from Jakarta or something, that Iraq, Afghanistan, even before that, the invasion of Grenada and Panama and these sort of things, and then the support now that's going on for Israel and the whole Gaza thing that is happening there, is that the Western democracies don't hold a moral high ground anymore.
And what we're seeing is not just China flexing its economic muscles, but tomorrow or later on Wednesday, we're going to see this huge military parade. The Times is reporting tonight on how they're actually going to be showing off these hypersonic missiles, just demonstrating to the world how powerful a superpower this country actually is now.
No, and absolutely right. I think that the parade starts literally in a couple of hours' time. And these hypersonic missiles, Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Secretary, said that if that they could wipe out all of America's aircraft carriers in the first 20 minutes of a war, the state that they are at the moment. But what they do essentially, or what has happened over the past 10 or 15 years, is that China controls the South China Sea, which is now one of the biggest trade routes. It's built military installations there, and that the Pentagon has got unwritten orders that should a conflict break out there, they are to retreat to further away so that they're out of range of these missiles, and China will actually have control of those waterways. So this is something that's very much in defense planners' minds, coupled with the fact that China is in computing, in technology, and all of that stuff. It is up there or ahead of the US. And whoever controls the computing and technology controls the world in the future. And this is something that is keeping defense planners up at night. And then on the boots on the ground level on that, allied as it is, if that's the right word, to Russia. Russia has now had 3 years experience in Ukraine. North Korea, which is another one that Kim Jong-un is there at the moment, they have now got boots on the ground experience in Ukraine. So beginning with this, there was this argument that China hasn't fought a war for very long, and it doesn't have any allies that can fight a war. That is slowly crumbling away.
And finally, and just briefly, Humphrey, we're also going to see in this big military parade jets overhead, drones, tanks. Is there any sense in which we actually know whether China is supplying Russia with weapons for the war in Ukraine? Just briefly, if you could.
Not weapons, but bits of weapons. There are many factories in China that are sending little bits of, here, there, and everywhere. But they're doing it very carefully so that they cannot be accused of actually sending a gun or a missile or a drone, for that matter, to Ukraine.
It's been fascinating to talk to you. Humphrey Hawksley, Editorial Director of Asian Affairs Magazine and former BBC Beijing Bureau Chief. Great to speak to you. Thanks a lot, Humphrey.
Thank you, Carol.